Good morning and welcome to the corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Customs Service. Indeed, today we shall be witnessing a landmark event that has been long in the making. This event shall go down in the history of the service as a game changer in modernizing its processes and procedures. As it is customary in occasions like this, before we begin, we'll start with the introduction of NCS management, beginning at the head of the table, no other person but the Controller General himself, Colonel Hamid Ibrahim Ali. To his immediate left, we have the legal advisor to the service, the person of Mr. Smart Akande. Also to his immediate left, and in charge of finance, admin, and technical support services is DCG David Chikan. To his immediate left, and responsible for the affairs of Strategic Research and Policy Department is DCG Ronke Olubi. In charge of the Tariff and Trade Department, no other person but the DCG Talatu Mero Isa. Responsible for excise, industrial incentives, and free trade zones, we have DCG Kathleen Ekekeze. To her immediate left, and in charge of enforcement, investigation, and inspection is DCG Elton Edori. And well, he probably needs no introduction to a lot of us here, but in charge of ICT and modernization is ACG Seidu Galadima. And from HRD, we have the ACG Obi Ekwalo. Before we go on to the business of the moment, I would like our guests from this side. We know we have maybe just to wave for recognition, the DCG Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Mr. Michael Ohiani, and Alaji Saleh Amadu, who is the chairman of Trade Modernization Project Committee. Would also please request that other members of the delegation introduce themselves, and then we go into the execution of the concession agreement.
Thank you, sir. I'm Dr. Geoffrey Oseldo, the Director of Contract Compliance of the ITRC.
Good morning, CGC. Good morning, all. My name is Juma Umar Ajijola, and I'm the Managing Director of Trade Modernization Project Limited.
Good morning, CGC and the management of NCS. I'm Calvin Young, the Deputy Managing Director of Huawei Nigeria.
Good morning, CGC and the management team of Customs and Amos, Social Manager of Huawei.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, CGC. My name is Halima Ibrahim Abba, the Associate Vice President and SH to Chief Investment Officer for the Africa Finance Corporation. Good to be here.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, CGC. My name is Dr. Abdi Abubakar. I advise the CG on this transaction. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Maduka Emelife. Good morning, CGC and the rest of the team. TYP Transaction Advisors.
Good morning, CGC. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ekong Etim, Legal Advisor to Trade Modernization.
Good morning, CGC. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ahmed Okunshala. I'm with Trade Modernization Project.
Thank you very much for the introductions. We're going straight into the business of the day, the main reason why we are here, which is the execution of the concession agreement. In the program, the sequence will be slightly reversed, and we'll start with the directors of Trade Modernization Project first to sign the agreement, and then it will be handed over to the CGC, and then we'll do a follow-up right here in front of the conference hall. So I think this is indeed, as I said earlier, a landmark occasion. I think the Nigerian Customs Service will go down in history as the first public organization to embrace the full automation of its processes and procedures. It has been a long time in coming, and we're really grateful to God for this. We also have to salute the visionary thinking of the Controller General and members of this management in embracing technology and deploying it in such a way that the NCS will be seen as forward-looking, innovative, and making the trading space in Nigeria more competitive in terms of attracting investors from outside the country. We would, at this point, yes, the exchange of the agreement between Trade Modernization Project Limited and the Controller General. It is a great day indeed. Thank you very much, sir. Now that pen has been put to paper and the deal has been sealed, I would like to invite the DG Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, and the person of Mr. Michael Oihiani for his brief remarks. Sir.
I am delighted to witness this epoch signing ceremony of the concession agreement for the Custom Modernization Project between the Nigerian Customs Service and Trade Modernization Project and Trade Modernization Project Limited, which will upscale and bring digital smart processes and procedure to Nigerian customs services. This will in no measure also bring in the process $3.2 billion. The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission is mandated to release all PPPs entered into under the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission Act 2005 and do any other act as may be directed by Mr. President from time to time. It is in this capacity that Mr. President directed the Commission to undertake a full due diligence of the Hawaii consortium proposal and conduct full negotiation with the company to prepare the draft concession agreement and full business case for approval by Federal Executive Council. Having gone through all the processes satisfactorily and obtained ICRC full business case certification, the approval of Federal Executive Council was sought and obtained. The final vetting of the concession agreement by the Honorable Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation ushered in today what we have just witnessed, the signing of the agreement. We are all witness to the evolution of the world from the analog to digital age. Therefore, the Nigerian Customs Services cannot be left behind. It is important to this that we have this e-custom platform that is deployed with robust smart technology. I urge the concessionaire to ensure to the best of their ability the full implementation of the terms of the agreement, as we will be monitoring it from time to time to ensure that both parties comply with it. We pray and hope that whatever we do will lead to a better Nigeria for us and our future generations. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless you all.
Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Indeed, we are setting the pace, embracing technology, and modernizing our processes. We would also like to invite the Chairman, Trade Modernization Project Limited, the person of Alhaji Saleh Amadu, to give us also his remarks. Alhaji Saleh.
The CGC, Honorable Hamid Ibrahim and all other protocols observed. Good morning. I feel greatly honored to be part of this momentous occasion of the signing of the concession agreement between the Federal Government of Nigeria and Trade Modernization Project Limited in respect of the Nigerian Customs Service Modernization Project under a PPP framework and in line with the Infrastructural Concession Regulatory Commission guidelines. Firstly, I would like to congratulate His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for his great vision and direct intervention in modernizing Nigeria's trading culture and practice. I also congratulate the Controller General of Customs, Honorable Hamid for successfully midwifing this important presidential meeting. Today, Nigeria takes a giant leap to strengthen its readiness for global trade in the 22nd century. The rapidly changing human development needs and challenges of globalization require agile national response. Therefore, the modernization of business processes of the Nigerian Customs Service signals the importance attached to the role of trade in our national development by President Muhammadu Buhari. Diversification of Nigeria's economy and development of the non-oil sector is at the heart of Mr. President's economic program. The Custom Modernization Project, through multi-stakeholder collaboration, will ease import and will ease exports and simplify imports, thereby increasing foreign exchange earnings for the country. With the support of our technical partners, Huawei Technology, and financing from African Finance Corporation, Trade Modernization Project Limited, through our global team of experts, is ready to hit the ground running. the $3.2 billion investment required for the project is already being finalized through an AFC-led initiative. As the concession period begins, we wish to assure Nigerians that the revenue target of 176 billion for the federal government will be achieved, if not surpassed. More importantly, we are excited about the real economic benefits for the country in terms of business growth for exporters and import-dependent businesses, improved global supply chains, enhanced industrial capacity utilization, and creation of employment opportunities. I cannot end this remark without appreciating the other stakeholders, particularly the grantor, Nigerian Customs Service, the Infrastructural Concession Regulatory Commission, the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and Planning, and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Honorable Minister of Justice for the enormous contribution in actualizing this project. We thank you and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Saleh Amadu, for that wonderful speech. Indeed, we are confident that your organization, Trade Modernization Project Limited, will be able to work as veritable partners with the Nigerian Customs Service and deliver, on all the wonderful things that you just highlighted. We would also like to get remarks from the project partners, beginning with Huawei Technologies Limited, followed by African Finance Corporation. So I think would like to invite Mr. Huang Longfei. Did I? Okay, sorry, Mr. Kelvin Yang.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, CGC, and thank you all the top management of SS. And it's a great pleasure for me to represent Huawei and to witness this great moment. I believe that that's a great milestone for the customer organization. And I just want to express our commitment, Huawei commitment. We will make sure all the deliverables to the trade facility and process automation and paperless custom is achieved. And we will make sure this is a more standard project. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelvin.
Good morning. All representatives from NCRC, belonging and other working partners that are here, and also the management team of the Nigerian Customs Service. I'm happy here to represent our President and Chief Executive Officer, Samantha Soberu. At AS, and I think to echo what Huawei said, is very committed to this project. We feel very proud to also be part and parcel of such an important project, not just for Nigeria, but actually for the African continent, because with the successful implementation of this project to serve as a template for other African countries as well, which is an important message in our story as a country in Nigeria. So we look forward to a speedy implementation and realization of the project. We stay very committed also to provide the relevant financing required to realize this important project. So I just want to say thank you and congratulations to all the partners that are here that have worked tirelessly for this success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, this would be a reference point to other customs administrations within the region. And we will be the leading public agency that is doing this, and would like to congratulate the Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ibrahim Ali, for taking this wonderful initiative. Sir, your remarks, please.
When we get to the last award, one individual who is alive to be one of the most happiest person in this project. That's former DG for IC. Are we rising? So rest in peace.
members of the Nigerian Customs Service Management, the chairman and members of the Trade Modernization Project, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first and foremost apologize for coming behind time. I was here dead on 10. I was trying to fish out where Said was and called his office. There was nobody to direct me to what is happening. So I normally have my rituals. When I come to the office, I do say some prayers. So when I discovered that I was not able to page, so I went ahead for the prayers. So I do apologize for coming in late. It's not accustomed to us. We're always on time. So do not take this as your first impression of the Nigerian Customs Service. Having said that, let me sincerely, first and foremost, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for bringing us to this day, which is very important and memorable day. Now we'll strive towards getting Nigerian Customs Service on the global platform. The journey has been long and treacherous, if I may say. It's been long and winding, but we thank God today we have signed the dotted lines. Let me congratulate RCRC, but for their own steadfast and tenacity, we will not be here celebrating this project today. So I thank you, DG. Thank your directors and your personnel for the commitment. We are indeed grateful. As long as this project remains, your name will be written in gold. Let me also, at this juncture, appreciate our partners, the one we consult. They have been right from the beginning part of this project. In fact, they initiated. I want to appreciate the fact that we had to go to China a couple of times to even appreciate what electronic customs means. And today, we are happy to say in Nigeria, we are going to be fully electronized, digitized, and modernized. I also want to appreciate our partners, the financiers. You all know, in any business, if there's no money, there's no snacks. So African Finance haven't taken the risk to be part of this dream. I want to commend you, appreciate your recognition of the importance of this project. Not to customs, not to the pocket of government, but to the entire Nigeria. And of course, we are setting a pace that all other African countries are looking forward to lagging behind. The success of this project will put Nigeria on the map. But I just came back from the meeting of the Nigerian and of the customs of West and Central Africa, which is the sub-region of the WCO. And the question I was left to answer was, how fast are you moving with your modernized customs? And I said, by the grace of God, when I get back, we'll be signing the project line to set the ball rolling. So today I'm happy. We have signed this agreement and we are going to hit the ground running. This project is very important in the sense that it has so many benefits that are lined up. But the first and foremost benefit, which is tangible, is the fact that we're going to garner to this country $3.5 billion. Not now. That is the money time. But to Nigerian customs, it is going to change the customs, the entire business process. It's going to put the customs on the best path in terms of doing their business. It will remove all arbitrariness and human mistakes. It is a process that will ease the cost of doing business. It's a process that will also assist those of us who are given the task to manage a much simpler process of managing and monitoring. It's a system that will put stop to every arbitrariness. So I look forward to this. I look forward to, if you recall, this project ought to have been launched 2 years ago. When Mr. President approved it, his intention was to flag it in September 2019. For so be it. We were not there, but today we are. Very sure, very soon, we invite Mr. President to flag this project and assures his commitment, which he has given us, and also ensures that Nigeria will be behind us all through thorough. Let me also underscore the fact that this project, having come thus far, is a project that we must support it in this entirety. The Nigerian Customs Service must support this project in its entirety. There are rumors around corners that this project is going to weed away officers. Let me allay that fear. We are even in need of officers. We have only 15,000. By our own vision and mission of management, we need nothing less than 30 and above thousand people to be able to effectively and efficiently carry out the management duties. So there's no question of weeding anybody. Secondly, let me also say the project is going to put on our table a challenge, and that is we must all be computer literate. We must all be computer literate, because once this project goes into full operation, it will be a paperless process from admin to finance to import and export processing, which then means everybody must know how to tap those tablets. We will do our best as a service to orient everyone to key into this project. There's no doubt we have waited for it, and now we must do everything to make sure that we are fully absorbed into the project.
Thank you very much.
Now, earlier today, there was the signing of the agreement, and that was quite a landmark event. But for constraints of space and time, as I mentioned in my message, we couldn't have everyone in there. So we thought we would be able to use your work, your expertise here from this particular segment of the program. These are the leaders of the corporate entity that will be working with, of course, who are we as technical partners and AFC as the financial partners. And of course, the project is domiciled in the customs service. So why would we need to modernize that? It's a landmark event in many, how do I say, dimensions, thank you. And you're going to hear a lot from the company, leaders of the company in the course of this discussion. But just so that you know who are in the room, I'll introduce them, or I'll let you introduce yourselves. So please say your name and the media organization that you represent.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the press conference with Trade Modernization Project. Here this afternoon is Haji Saleh Ahmadu, who is the chairman of Trade Modernization Project Limited, Dr. Jumai Umar Achichola, who is the managing director of Trade Modernization Project Limited. Sitting across me is Mr. Ekon Eti. He is the legal advisor to the company, as well as the transaction advisor with the project. My name is Ahmed Ogunshola, and here I have Barrister Ahmed Ibrahim Ahmed. Thank you.
So, where do we start with introductions?
Good afternoon. My name is Aris Efana. I work for AFM Modernisation.
Good afternoon. My name is Farouk Shai. I work for Interest Newspaper.
Good afternoon. Ikenna Magleki from the Music Business of Nigeria.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is David Abba, Blueprint Newspaper.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Onyi Sunday from Rise Television. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you for your time with us this afternoon. This is a press conference provides you more details on the occasion that we had today, earlier today, at the Nigeria Customs Services premises. A landmark agreement was signed with the Federal Republic of Nigeria by Nigeria Customs Services with the Trade Modernization Project Limited. And this agreement that was signed is for the modernization of the Customs Service. This modernization of the services covers the entire operations of the Customs Service end-to-end, providing a value chain to create an ecosystem that will facilitate trade, not only in Nigeria but on the continent. For us at Trade Modernization, we say that the 22nd century just dawned in Nigeria, and the world has to follow our lead with this leap that we have taken. It's a concession agreement that was midwifed by Infrastructure, Regulatory and Concession Commission in line with the law, extant law that established them. Under the directive of Mr. President himself, with a ratification by the Federal Executive Council. And the agreement that was signed today was finalized by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice under what we call the Public-Private Partnership Arrangement, which sees this agreement for the next 20 years. We are going to bring an initial investment of $3.2 billion into this project, and Huawei is our technical partners we're going to be using. They will be leading the technical partners as we go along. Other OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, will also join the lead. And also Africa Finance Corporation is the lead financiers that will be working with us in the delivery of this project. It requires to get expertise, global expertise, and the World Customs Organization itself is excited about what this means, because of course if you have the Nigerian market, you have the African market, and if you have the African market, then you have the global market. What Africa is over 1.5 billion strong, so that kind of number is what we are looking at tapping in terms of trade. Now, what does this mean in terms of to everyday people, to Nigerians? It simply means that both the export and import processes would be made very seamless. There would be accountability leakages would be plugged, and that means there are more revenue to government. Also, there's a lot of spin-off jobs opportunity, as you know, when the disruptive technologies come to play, especially leading in the 22nd century that, like I said, it's been dawned in Nigeria, there would be a lot of opportunities. A lot of new professions will be created, and we are going to ensure that that is midwife. Young people would have jobs, since young people are those that are actually drive technology. We have a lot of unicorns that are birthed in Nigeria, that are globally known and acclaimed and recognized. We're going to be tapping into this industry. Our youth are doing a lot in the technology space, and we're going to be working closely to ensure that all these talents and capacities are harnessed to ensure that the best comes. This ecosystem that we're going to create will ensure wealth generation for the country, which of course leads into sustainable development. This is the kind of thing that we promise that we're going to be doing with the team of experts that we have at Trade Modernization Projects Limited, but also with our partners that will be working with us for the next 20 years. So ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to ask us any questions that you want with further clarification. Our chairman will take some of the questions, but we are here to support him in terms of addressing whatever technical issues that you need clarification on. So once again, welcome to our premises and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to ask any questions because if I do, I cannot use it. So I'm hoping my cameraman gets here on time and I can have a one-on-one. So except for the praise guys. Then, yeah.
Okay, so my name is Aris. Every time I hear issues like this, especially on public-private partnership, it sounds exciting, right? But at the same time, the first question I would want to ask is, as an organization, have you foreseen any challenge at all ahead of this journey? 3.5 billion naira, depending on what you want to do, is a lot, and it could also fall short depending on what your scope is. So first, before I go into the next question, are there challenges that you foresee?
Yes, absolutely. If a project like this doesn't have challenges, then it's not what it is for. Of course, the biggest challenge that we see, and we have put in place all the mechanism to ensure that challenge is addressed, is the challenge of accepting change. We're just saying that things will change, the way things are done, the way business is done in Nigerian Customs Services and other sister agencies that are in the trade space would change. And so change means that carrying everybody along. And because of that, we have extensively developed change management processes that will look at the gamut of work from on the value chain of trade and address it. But most importantly, addressing change is about people. How do you carry the people along? Are they part of the process? And I would say that since this project started about 5 years ago, everybody in the ecosystem is aware of what is happening, they have contributed, they are part of it, and that's why you saw even the palpable excitement that was even in the customs. This is a paramilitary organization, but you can see how excited they were, they couldn't hide it. So that's the biggest challenge we see. Every other thing would follow. But with change, indeed, in terms of you look at School of Administrative Thoughts, change is about first, you address it through the fact that they are the visionaries, so the leaders, the CGC, and our own chairman conceptualize this based on the needs that has been identified. Now we have people that are going to run with it, and this is where you guys still come in. How does the public see it? How does the public address it? What does the public know about it, understand and accept it? So from all the different stakeholders, it's about change, it's about bringing everybody on board, it's about accepting it. And this, of course, then will lead to the delivery of things that we want to. That's about
Okay, because the reason I asked this, when we have situations, for instance, when you had the private sector brought into the power sector, the idea was, the moment you have, a private buy-in, we should see something different. And then along the line, you start hearing from the private investors, challenges like, okay,
they didn't have enough fund. It now looked like government had to start running, business for the private sector. Now looked like the government had to start running business for the private sector. So that's why I'm asking, that question, and then it will now take me to the area of collaborations, because incidentally this morning I run a breakfast show at my office, and we're having a conversation on taxation. And we know that if there is one area where you have lots of loopholes and you have money slipping away, it's the import and exports area. There are lots of loopholes there. So the collaborations you're making beyond just customs, there are other government agencies, there are parastatals that are involved in this. What's the strength of the collaboration?
Because you were going to get the power. Okay, the part of the agreement that we signed today pertains to the setting up of what you call the steering committee, the project steering committee, that consists of all the other interagencies that are part of this. So means that there is that overview that they will be providing in terms of monitoring, but also providing support in the work that needs to be done. That's one. But also, in the trade sector, there's something that has run for a while now that is called the single window. Chairman, is that correct? That's called the single window. And this single window also facilitates trade, but the scope of the single window is not quite as extensive as what the Nigerian custom is coming with the custom modernization. But because technology allows interoperability and the disc key into all the work that they're doing together, with the oversight of the project steering committee, then I'm not going to say that there wouldn't be any problems, but it should be something that we would, as we go along. Remember, I did say change, ensure that everybody comes on board with. You talked about the challenges of power and what has happened with that privatization. I will let our expert on that speak to.
So I think when we talk about those projects, it's very funny that in Nigeria we talk of failures, not successes. So privatization has been done everywhere. Look at the work going on in Ukraine today. Most of the people that are being pursued, the so-called oligarchs, were the people that did privatization in Russia. So that was a challenge for them. But in UK, it was well done. They had their own challenges. So we are in the same type of situation. It's a very difficult thing to do. She mentioned that it took us 5 years to get to where we are. A lot of people run away from PPPs. They rather do JVs because it's very engaging. So you have the regulator, ICLC, they have guidelines. You have to follow the guidelines at the letter. So for me, it's a case of looking at the successes and looking at they are not major failures that we've had. And I can talk to you about it because I used to work at the Bureau of Public Enterprises. So the ports, are you going to tell me that the ports failed? We know what the ports used to be.
That's all specific.
No. I'm going from the example you gave to where we are now. So now, what we had with the ports was it took about 3 months for you to get your books out. So today, you are doing about 6 days, sometimes 4 days.
Sometimes less.
Yeah, at times 2 days. Okay, so I'll talk about power. When you are doing privatization, the first thing you need to do is to do reform in the sector before you privatize. The problem we have with power, unfortunately, is that the guys that did it, they use the Indian model. They just talked about the population of Nigeria. We are like Indians. That's what they thought. We are a lot and all of that. So the model they use there is what they use without marrying it to our environment. Possibly that's why we're having the hiccups. And I think the investors too were not alive to their responsibility to know the quantum of investment required. But this is a different thing. This project is driven by technology. Technology is expensive, but it gives you efficiency. So then when you hear $3.2 billion, the first thing that occurs to you is how are we going to raise that our fund? That's why we have AFC with us today. You saw that. So what we've done is to create the type of financial plan that will enable us to finance this. We have just 10% of that being done by equity. The people that are bringing the equipment are doing about 40% of that, and then the bankers will bring the rest. So that way we've somehow reduced our risk in terms of financing it. But the more important thing is, first, it's not a strange project. It's online already. We are only improving it and then removing the backlogs of old technology to bring new technology. So it's not something that we are building afresh. No, we are only modernizing it. So that way, there's no risk of not getting it right. There's something in place already. You're only modernizing it. It's not starting from scratch. So, for example, if you take, now we are going to an era that they will privatize the airports. So already there's MM2 that is doing well. It's private. It's just that some of us don't know. So what will be done is to try and replicate that success to the federal government airports.
Excellent. My name is Farouk. I want to ask them, since you said it's going to stop our revenue leakage, is there, and have you done an assessment of, let's say, an estimate about what Nigeria is going to get from it in terms of our budget for the amount of money that Nigeria is going to benefit?
Nigeria, over the next 20 years, from this project is going to get nothing less than $176 billion. Nothing less. So it would be more, it could be more, but nothing less. So that will be the revenue that will accrue to the federal government of Nigeria from this project. $176 billion.
In 10 years.
Questions?
Sorry, please again. Is the project going to get an overall customer service, or is it specific case that you're going to?
So you have the three services.
Yes. The project is going to be the modernization of the business processes in Nigerian customer service. So by that, what it means is that we are looking at areas where technology is currently being deployed and areas where technology is not yet being utilized across the Nigerian customer service. So there are 4 areas, which is in terms of the operational areas, there are administrative areas, and there are different aspects in terms of the solutions that are going to be deployed in that manner. Are we going to be present in all customs formations? Yes. The project will affect all customs formations across the country. Are we going to be in at every border point? Yes. The project is going to also improve Nigeria Customs Service presence at every border point across the country. So in a way, while it's going to focus on technology, it's technology that affects the entire value chain of what the Nigerian Customs Service does.
Any more questions? Our chairman will just
to ask. I think the conclusion. This is a new project, or it's been on ground. For how long have you been doing this project?
Well, it is a new project. The process of getting it to today has been on for 5 years. As Mr. Etim said, the PPP project usually has a long gestation period. And that is so that, especially with this project, so that government makes sure that they are given this, they're entrusting the right people, the right organization to do the job. So yes, the process has been on for 5 years between the regulator and the grantor and the consortium, and birthed the concessionaire today with signing of the agreement. But in terms of has custom has any modicum of technology driving the work that it does? Yes. But that technology was established about 12 years ago, and that is what they seek to. And you know, in terms of disruptive technology, 6 years is too old. And that is what this is all about. And that is why we said, I keep repeating it, the 22nd century has just been birthed in Nigeria. So our chairman will say a few words to you gentlemen of the press, and then we'll bring it to a closing.
We want to thank you for being part of this very important outing. It's a project that has been, like you've had, on ground for the last 5 years. It has to do with trade modernization, which is us, the company. We've been engaging with Nigerian customs right from the onset. Like Ahmed actually said, we're going to be at every border post, which we have already done our research, put our things in place there. We've gone to see the border post. We have been interacting with Nigerian customs for the last 5 years to identify where there will be shortfalls, how we can enhance what is coming to play, and how we can move forward.